Thanks to the existence of the multiverse and the Spider-Verse and Spider-Geddon events, we have been introduced to a staggering number of variations of Spider-Man. One of the more interesting of the Spider variants would have to be Norman Osborn, the Spider-Man of Earth 44145. I'm Adam Andrews with Top 10 Nerd. Let's talk about that. First appearing in Edge of Spider-Geddon number 4 from September of 2018, following along with the first 3 issues, which all introduce us to a single alternate Spider-Man each, this story picks up reciting a letter written by none other than Peter Parker to his best friend, Harry Osborn. In this letter, read out over the course of the issue, Peter basically explains how if this letter is being read, then it means he has bit the dust, and that Norman, Harry's father, is responsible. Pete also reveals that both Harry and himself have been working against Norman from inside of Oscorp, Peter on the science side and Harry on the corporate side of things. As Pete is telling Harry that Norman is probably onto him and that if Harry goes after him he should sneak in, Harry is decidedly not sneaking into Oscorp. He's walking right in the front door and going up the elevator, taking out several guards in the process, all while being watched by his 6-armed, sinister spider father on security cameras. We are actually given no information about how Norman gained these powers, assuming it was a spider, but he has them, and his costume is actually really cool, with a helmet instead of a mask that looks kind of like a big bicycle helmet. I know that doesn't sound cool, but I like this look. I kind of want to know what you guys think, so let me know down below. Anyways, according to Peter, Norman has been pouring an enormous amount of resources into a super secret project. He has put his science team, which included Peter, on the task of refining Peter's old web fluid project, making the web super strong, but also with a degree of plasticity. Norman also had others running tests about the breakdown of string theory in relation to, and I quote, timey-wimey alternate reality stuff. I don't know. While Peter theorizes this is for some kind of way to bungee jump through time and space, he's not really wrong. In reality, Spider-Norman has acquired a cosmic cube, but one that is warped and broken, giving him a window into multiple different realities. Now, realizing that Norman is putting all of this time and effort into this endeavor, Harry and Peter are essentially trying to weaken Oscorp. Harry infiltrates Oscorp and he manages to get his hands on this reality's version of the Kobold suit, aka the Green Goblin armor. Only here, it's silver and really cool. Now, with the suit, Harry makes his way to the Cosmic Cube. Harry and Spider-Norman face off, with Norman pretty readily besting his own son, but Harry still was able to fire off a laser while on the ropes that missed Norman, sure, but it hit the cube instead, destroying it. While this seems like a win, it actually gave Spider-Norman exactly what he wanted, and this opened up the web of life and destiny. But this is when, pretty much out of nowhere, Spider-Punk appears, taking Spider-Norman with him. Now, Spider-Punk showed up to grab Norman in order to bring him into the Spider-Geddon event that follows the Spider-Verse event. The Inheritors managed to revive themselves using Superior Spider-Man's, aka Doc Ock's, cloning vats. The multiversal Spider-Man split up into 2 squads, one led by Superior Spider-Man, who are all very much okay with taking the lives of the Inheritors. The multiversal Spider-Men split up into 2 squads, one led by Superior Spider-Man, who are all very much okay with taking the lives of the Inheritors to win the conflict, and the other squad being led by Miles Morales, and who are a little bit more morally positive. Now, as you can imagine, Spider-Norman is very much on the side of Superior Spider-Man here. Although, Spider-Norman, being Norman Osborn, isn't really down with taking orders, and so he and Otto are constantly fighting each other for the right to lead. Norman and Spiders-Man, the Spider-Man made up of thousands of little tiny spiders, on the other hand, are getting along swimmingly, and they actually splinter off from Otto's group, planning to trap the Inheritors on Earth 616, sacrificing the main Marvel Universe in order to beat the enemy. Following that plan, Norman and Spiders-Man head to Loom World and destroy it completely, with Spiders-Man sending one of his spiders to a ton of alternate realities, and Norman cutting off a piece of the web of life and destiny, giving him the ability to travel to any alternate Earth that he wants to. Now, for the rest of the Spider-Geddon event, both Norman and Spiders-Man basically just disappear. The next time we see the sinister duo is in Superior Spider-Man Volume 2, and all the way in issue number 9, where we learn that they have been secretly spying on Otto Octavius as he is living his Superior Spider-Man life in San Francisco. This pair secretly leaked the fact that the San Francisco Spider-Man is actually Otto Octavius to the public, trying to ruin his reputation and get their revenge. Or it's more like Norman is trying to get his revenge and just using Spider-Man to do so, which was a mistake. Superior Spider-Man figures out that Spider-Man is involved and he captures one of his spiders in a wave disruption field, which basically means Spider-Man's consciousness is trapped in the one single little spider. This is when Otto forces the truth of who is behind this all out of the tiny little spider, and Norman, on the other hand, was hiding out in a completely different world. So, in order to go defeat him, Otto at Horizon University is attempting to use a dimensional viewer when Norman, who had actually traveled to Earth 616, turns it on, turns this all on its head, blowing up the machine and taking down a large part of the building as well, with Otto's friends and even his love interest inside. He then vows to destroy everything Otto has ever built, simply for insulting him, which is a very Norman Osborn thing to do. So, now it's Norman Osborn Spider-Man versus Otto Octavius Spider-Man, and it's something I actually didn't know would be so awesome. It's cool. Norman ended up capturing a boy by the name of James, who Superior Spider-Man had saved and grown close to. With Otto begging Norman to spare the boy, Spider-Norman does a very Norman Osborn thing and offers an ultimatum. He gives Otto the choice of either taking the lives of 3 innocent, healthy civilians, or he will end James forever. This leads Otto to actually summon the demon Mephisto and make a deal with him. For Otto to revert himself back to the villain he used to be in order to have the ruthless will he needs to actually defeat Norman properly. When these two encounter each other, Otto has infiltrated Norman's place, sicked his Octobots on Spider-Man, and used a clone of his spider self to trick Norman into a false sense of security. I hope that makes sense. As Norman throws James out of a window, Otto reveals that he summoned a bunch of his old octopus harnesses, and while one of them saved James, 4 others and Otto himself beat the heckin' tar out of Norman Osborn, systematically breaking his bones with the arms in such a way that they will never heal back normally, trapping Norman in a broken body. Otto steals the piece of web of life and destiny that Norman was using, and he tosses Spider-Norman back to his native Earth, Earth 44145. Now, the next time we see Norman is in Spider-Man Volume 4, Issue number 4 from this year, 2023. For a little bit of an explanation, in this story, Peter Parker and his allies, which weirdly enough includes Morlun for some reason, are fighting against the Wasp totem known as Shathra, who is trying to dominate the web of life and destiny, or basically just the multiverse. Using her sting, she's able to convert people into a part of her hive, and she's doing that to a whole bunch of different Spider-Men across the multiverse. As a little fun fact, her forces also possess the dagger totem, which can completely erase someone from existence, which is what happened to 616 Spider-Man. Now, opening the story on Spider-Norman's Earth 44145, he and Spider-Man are attacked by Spider Biodroid of Earth 9221 and the Spider Rex, yes, a Spider T-Rex of Earth 66, both of whom had been forced into Shathra's hive. Norman and Spider-Man are hiding away in Norman's lab. As Norman tries to use the only piece of the web he has left to escape, he orders Spider-Man to try and attack the alternate spiders. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Spider-Man goes down like a chump, getting completely set ablaze by Spider Biodroid. The pair bust into the lab to find Norman, who didn't actually escape. Instead, Norman sent his part of the web, which is what Shathra was after, away to Earth 616, and then, refusing to become a part of the hive and wanting to win on his terms, Norman blows up the building with himself inside. And that is the end of Spider-Norman. A pretty sudden and pretty unceremonious way to take him out, but honestly, he's a bad guy, so I guess that's just karma? Thank you guys so much for watching today on Top 10 Nerd. I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown, and if you did, be sure to catch our other videos on the Flippy Flop. But until then, stay safe and peace out, nerds!